So, um, you talked about what does it mean to be Kenyan, especially when you're making music and releasing music, and the themes that you're talking about. And this is something that has been in your music since like with Kenyan
Yeah.
Message and everything.
Yeah.
I was listening to that and I was just like, yo, it's just so relevant today. You know what I mean? Like
So
you could
unfortunately.
have you could have made that song about today and it would
Yeah.
make so much sense.
Yeah.
And there's something that Sam and I have been talking about on the pod, which is, do you think that artists have an obligation to talk about socio-economic
Mm.
Hmm.
topics
Yeah,
Mm.
in
yeah.
their music? Or do you think that they don't really have that? Like artists can really make whatever they want. But
100%.
okay,
Free the
what do you
artist.
think?
Art is first
Free
for
the
you.
artist. Yeah.
You
Okay.
make whatever art you want to make.
Mhm.
If you want to talk about social political things, do it. If you just want to talk about Banjo, do it. If you want to, like, you don't even want words, you just want to put like birds there on top of an oboe, go right ahead and do it.
Birds on top of an
Birds
oboe.
on an
Bro.
oboe. Other fire projects too.
Bro,
Yeah.
that's a good
We
name
need
too.
we need
Birds
more
on top of an
instrumental. Exactly. We
oboe.
need more
Yes.
instrumental projects that are not
Yes.
necessarily vocal
Yes.
vocal driven. Like there's just so
Yes.
much more to offer in terms of
Yes.
Kenyan culture
I really agree
that we
with
could
you.
do with that.
I would
Yeah.
love to be, when you start working on the project, make
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
call me, please. I'd
Oh,
love
for
to be in
sure.
the room.
Sure.
I don't think artists have an obligation to do
Okay.
anything. If you decide to go down that route, do it. But free the art.
But then what would you say about the backlash? Because I mean, recently, of course, there's a thing with
Right.
Ben. But then there's a backlash, and it's very militant almost. It's very
Yeah.
like you have to. You
Yeah.
make music well,
Yeah.
and you're a great artist, and
Yeah.
because you're a great artist,
Yeah.
you have to represent us on that
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Do you ever
It's the
feel that?
burden. It's a burden of being. It's a burden of being who he is.
Mhm.
They really love him. We really love him. He's kind of like, he's our rock star. He's our number one. We really love him.
Yeah.
So, and he's our guy.
It's our guy.
He's our guy, Sana.
It's our star boy.
You know what I mean? So when we see him with the ops, for whatever reasons, we're like, bro, we don't want to see you with the ops.
At all.
But
I think that's, to me, that's where I landed.
Yeah.
With the whole thing. I'm like, release BN of obligation. What are you talking about? He's an artist. He can sing whatever he wants. He can meet whoever he wants,
Mhm.
right? But because of this moment of awakening, we are in where people are like, oh, we're really clear about like who our ops are and how our ops are moving.
Yeah.
Whereas you may not be able to stop your op from, succeeding.
Stop your op.
You can't stop your up from succeeding. The guy was coming anyway, right? Don't be with him. Don't be seen with your up. Don't give your up your social currency.
Mhm.
That's where I landed. Like as kind of the underlying thing that I really got from it. Everything else, I'm like, Yako, because I don't subscribe to that artists are meant to be the ones, the mirrors and the whatever. No, that's some
The faces
artists.
of the revolution.
Yeah. And also when artists are just, being themselves and singing their topics or rapping their topics or oboeing their topics, that is a reflection of society. That is what you're doing. That's literally what you're doing. You're being in love, you're worrying about things, your parents are aging, you're whatever. The topics that make their way to the artist's music are the reflection of the times and the things that they're living through.
Yeah.
So the idea that there's a hyper specificity to the social political and that being the only thing that is, required or demanded of the artist, I think that's disingenuous.
This is crazy, but this is full circle from the beginning of the podcast where you said, do you think about breathing or do you think about manifestation?
Yeah.
Like an artist just creating art,
Yeah.
whatever art they create, it's always going to be a reflection on the society at that time.
Exactly.
And
exactly. And that's why you love the songs that
despite
you
what they
love.
do.
They relate to you.
Yeah.
But there's a moment right now of accelerated social political awareness. So you're hoping that this, or you're wanting, or you want it reflected back to you. And so then you project that desire onto the artist who, you love. And I contend that that's not the artist's burden to bear.
Yeah. I mean, it must be very tasking though, because creating in and of itself is a very emotionally tasking endeavor, and you're grabbing things from different sources
Yeah.
to try and put it into
Yeah.
a song, and then here you are presenting that, and then people are take that apart and said, no, you need to put
Yeah.
now include my struggle
Yeah.
in your song as well, or the struggle as how I see it, my
Yeah.
perspective of the struggle in your song as well.
Yeah.
And that can get very, very, very
Yeah.
tasking for an artist.
Yeah, it can be. And to speak to this moment, my other like reflection there was like, we just need to stop being so sanctimonious. We're lying.
We had this exact conversation.
lying.
Yeah.
So the thing
We're
is,
lying.
Yeah.
so
Artists sing when heads of state appear. They do.
There's
It's
a lot
been
of
happening forever.
yeah, there's a lot of, and it's
It
not
doesn't mean
popular.
it's right or wrong. It's just kind
Exactly.
of understanding that that's part of the function
Yeah.
of the thing. And you always have choice, and sometimes you don't have choice. And you don't need, it's not, it doesn't even matter. What I'm just saying is like, don't be so sanctimonious about that thing. And you're the same person who's also saying how Maraga, Okia, and Sifuna need to be talking. I'm like, isn't Sifuna part of our ops?
yeah.
So we should be negotiating with
who
the
are
ops
the
so that we
ops,
can
really?
build
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
But so I'm just like, don't be sanctimonious. I'm not saying you can't have your feelings. I'm just like, just take it 12 notches down.
Yeah.
Right? And release your idols. They're not your idols. He doesn't even want to be your idol. He's a guy who makes music and he loves that he's able to connect with you. He's
Yeah.
not asked to be your idol.
Yeah.
Release him. Release him from your idolatry and what you expect him to then represent for
Expectations.
you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Expectations.
He's not a superior Kenyan to you. He's just a Kenyan. And in some spaces, he becomes kind of like the condensed version of what people understand as Kenya in that moment. And therefore, it becomes that he's being a flag bearer for Kenya. No, bro. He's just an artist doing his thing.
No, but okay, it's a very nuanced conversation.
It's
because,
very nuanced.
Because you see,
that's why you can't be
unfortunately,
sanctimonious about it.
unfortunately, not everybody has come to the awakening that you have, or looking at artists through this lens. A lot of people still put artists on pedestals.
Don't pedestal anybody.
But
what are we going to do?
But unfortunately, that's what a lot of people already do.
Just enjoy the work. Connect with the work. Appreciate the work. Keep it moving. Nothing. Leave it alone. That's a human being like you. They're flawed and they're fundamentally chasing their own agenda. Exactly the way you are. So drop this sanctimoniousness. Even you're just pursuing your own freedom and happiness.
That's true.
As is that artist.
Yeah.
So release it.
And-
Kill your idols. Just enjoy the thing and keep it pushing.
The thing about BN too, and I think this is why I think he's such a brilliant artist,
That's
is
such good points.
he has curated himself in a place. I mean, when you look at BN, you just see BN the guy, but he's one of the leading artists in the country, and he's the one who's really, and in a lot of spaces we see him as carrying the flag for Kenyan music.
Yeah, and exactly.
Yeah.
And I hate that. That's that Colosseum mentality.
Mhm.
So you sit in the Colosseum and you're not a fighter. You pick a fighter.
Exactly.
Then you project all your expectations on this fighter to fulfill your desire to like have power in that moment, to
Mhm.
feel the rush of a win, to belong to something. It's a team. You have no real reason why you belong to that football team that you love so much. You're just there. Now you can never quit. Referencing our whatever conversation, right? And then they fulfill a dream and an aspiration for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you never have to play ball yourself. You never have to put yourself on the line. You never have to do that crazy work of being a supreme athlete operating at
It's difficult.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
so
what you
so
mean.
it's gladiators. So this is what we do. We take this person who's just exploring his own vision and ideas and identity and his own questions and his own happiness.
Yeah.
And we make them a flag bearer for my
Fight in my
aspiration.
struggle.